Welcome back, everybody, and welcome. I can't help but smile. You guys probably wondering what Sean doing cheesing already. The video is not even started yet. I am cheesing because we are officially at 2K subscribers, and that is insane to me. I cannot believe that we got there so quickly. It's been like 8 months. We have officially hit 2K subscribers. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to you for helping build United versus everybody into what it is. You guys are the community. You guys are the lifeblood. You guys do this. And yeah, big up. Yes, Danny, my ride or die in the scouting department. Bigging up, man. You guys just give yourself some. Couldn't be more thankful. Couldn't be more proud to just get to sit here and interact with such absolute legends on a day-to-day basis. You guys are awesome. You make the channel what it is. You make supporting this club just that much more enjoyable, that much more just passionate, just that much nicer. I mean, you guys are awesome. I've never had a bad experience doing this show and couldn't be happier. But thank you to everyone who's been getting involved, who's been helping the channel grow and to where it is what it is. I'm excited to see what we can do from here. I really believe that we can get to 3K. We're going to set that milestone for ourselves. And of course, what the 2K mark means is that we are going to announce the winner of the giveaway. I'm not going to officially announce it today because I wasn't prepared. Quite frankly, I was doing a lot of running around. I didn't even notice that we got this until earlier and then had a lot of other stuff going on. So I'm not prepared to announce it right this second. I'll probably announce it on the next video, but we are going to get there. And then, so this is the giveaway. This is the 21-22 home shirt. It is a large. I have put together the names of everyone who's been getting involved, and then I'm going to put those on a wheel, and I'll put the wheel up on the screen for you when I do that video, and then we'll be here together to watch that. But couldn't have done this without you guys. As Bandomac jumps in, good to see you again, my friend. Congrats. Thank you. Hey, congratulations to yourselves. You guys are doing this. So big up all you guys who are getting involved in the community. Big up everybody who's helped the channel what it is and who comes by and stops and chats regularly, gets involved with the channel. We've got big, fun, exciting things planned for the future as the channel grows and as I spend more time just looking into the different things I can do. I'm excited to share that with you as we get to that point. But until then, keep liking the videos, keep subscribing to the channel, hit the notification bell too if you guys want to be first to find out about any new streams coming up and anything, because that way you don't miss any. But thank you again for 2K subscribers. You guys are awesome. Continuing with the celebrations, kind of a bittersweet celebration, but we are going to give a little bit of a round of applause here for Nani. Our former winger announced his retirement from football at the weekend at the young age of 38. We've had some great moments with Nani at United. I think that, trying to think of some moments from Nani in his United career that jump out of my mind. What you guys get involved in the chats if you guys have any good Nani memories. I think of like the seal dribble along the touchline. Remember when he was like bouncing on his head for like 20 yards? Of course, the cross for Rooney's bicycle kick against City in the Derby. That was a good one. He had that nice solo run against Bolton, the Rocket against Chelsea, the Rocket against Derby, the Rocket against Spurs, Rocket against Middlesbrough. This guy score anything but rockets. He had that little cheeky back heel flick against Bayern Munich, if you remember that at all. Or maybe you're just a big fan of his backflip celebration. I mean, maybe that's a big thing. Danny says it's got to be that cross to Rooney. I mean, that's probably the most memorable. It's kind of like, I feel like more people probably remember that for Rooney, right? Kind of like more people remember Solskjaer for the cross that won us the Champions League final, the goal, but that corner came in from Bex, right? So it takes two people to make a goal in a lot of instances. Oh no, Pantomac doesn't have a good memory of Nani. Is that because you're too young? Do you not rate Nani? Nani could be a little inconsistent. Obviously, he kind of came in, kind of overlap replacing Cristiano. Didn't obviously 100% fill that void, but Nani, we had some good memories. But Justin jumping in to the chat, 2000, what's good? Yeah, man, we are at 2K and you guys rock. I appreciate everybody getting involved. What's good, my guy? I need to give you a call tomorrow. I'll answer your phone this time. I love you. Bandomax too old. How? You can't be that old. I'm old. I remember Nani. I was in college. No, I just graduated college. So I somewhat remember Nani a little bit from I obviously I watched a lot, but it was during a big transition. So I was going from college to living in Indiana and stuff. So that was when my United viewing took a little bit of an inconsistent. It wasn't like an altogether dip. It just wasn't as consistent. Bandomac, I remember the review goal. Dude, when did you call me back? I called you yesterday. I called you yesterday. You're on notice. Now, Justin and I are going to Manchester in just over a month, actually. We are going to be getting in all the footy we could possibly get. We're going to be doing Southampton. We're going to do Brighton. We're going to go watch Salford. We're going to go watch the kids play, the academy play Aston Villa as well. We are just going from football match to football match to football match to football match. It's going to be insane. And then we're going to hit up downtown and basically just eat all the foods that we can find and pretty much empty Manchester of Guinness. But yeah, get involved. Let me know your favorite Nani moment. I think that I like. He had a goal against City where there was a clearance, so we had the ball in our box, and Rooney like cleared it, and it kind of went straight up and then came down, and then Vincent Kompany was on the halfway line, and he just didn't control it, and Nani just followed it up, kind of like when Ahmad against Liverpool in the FA Cup quarterfinal. Nani basically sits Kompany down, takes the ball all the way into the box, and scores. I think I like that one mostly because it just made Vincent Kompany look like a fucking mug. But if you remember this shirt right here, what I said a long time ago, when I see this shirt, I think of Nani. So that's why we're wearing it tonight. But that's why we're doing it. 4 games in 4 nights, duck burgers. Let's fucking go, baby. Somebody make the chimmy fucking changas. So I'm excited for that. But big up, Nani. Get involved in the chat if you haven't yet. Start off things a little bit. We're just doing a quick little United news roundup tonight. Nothing crazy going on. We have a lot of little things to talk about, but that's what life is, right? People like to think life is a big thing. It's a lot of the little things that add up. So don't ignore the little things, a little FYI, but little things to talk about going on with the club that I wanted to get your thoughts on tonight, plus any excuse to come in and celebrate 2K, right? But we're going to start things off with another little mini scouting report. Now, we've been doing a couple of these. I'm not going to do in every video, but I was revisiting a player that I looked at a while back and a player that we were linked with in the summer that I thought this guy could actually be a really good fit for us. You guys let me know what you think. So I'm going to throw him up on the screen right now and tell you a little bit about Barış Yilmaz. So currently at Galatasaray, can play on the right wing, can play on the left wing, but can also play as like a right back, right wing back as well. Just 24 still. Dude's got pace to burn. The dude is crazy strong. He is like fit, not like Adama Traore fit, but he's fit, right? Very, very good. United and Arsenal were actually linked with him in the summer. I think £25 million was the price being thrown out there. And obviously he didn't go anywhere. He's got 7 goals and an assist in all competitions right now this season, doing very, very well. Again, can play either side. He can invert into the channels very well from the wing, which is a really good plus in the Ruben Amorim system. Maybe that makes him suited for one of those roles behind a 10, for instance. But the dude, what I like about him is, unlike some of these players that we have, the dude has energy. He has stamina. He's got strength to burn. He's like a little 6-year-old, just runs all day. I think he'd be an excellent upgrade on Anthony. He might even be an excellent upgrade on Marcus Rashford, just with the work rate alone. I think he could compete with Ahmad on that right side. I think he can maybe allow Ahmad to move into the 10 every now and then. We watched him at all during the Euros with Turkey. He did very, very well. Currently, he's literally in the top 1% for progressive carries, for touches in the attacking penalty area, and progressive passes received. The guy just gets the ball and he gets it up the pitch. He's in the top 10% for successful takes on as well. So he does a very good job at just moving the ball forward. Shot creating actions, top 3%. Assists, top 25%. The guy is a monster. And he's actually above average for tackles per 90 for his position. And he wins. He's in the top 2% for winning aerials. So the guy just gets involved. He shows fight. If you remember what we said about United against Forest, there was no fight. There was literally no fight. I rattled you off all those ground duel stats from our defense to our wide players to our midfielders. Like, they weren't doing great. The fight wasn't there. And I think that having players who will fight for the badge, who will fight for every ball, who will fight to win every single mini battle on the pitch is exactly what we need. We need mentality monsters. We need physical beasts. We need leaders. We need players who have it up here. So Danny says, I like him. I like him. Yeah, I like him a lot too. I forgot that we were linked with him until I was looking through FootMob. So FootMob lets you save players. You can follow players. And I was looking through my following list as I was doing my new manager career mode on FC25 with United. I just decided to go ahead and make Ruben Amorim myself because there's a bug in FC20. What, there's a bug in FC25? Yeah, there's a bug in FC25 that if you choose a real manager to start a career mode with, their hair changes all the time. So it's so dumb. This game, you have to literally try to make a game this bad. So I just found a really, really good face tutorial on Ruben Amorim and went ahead and did it. It looks like 100 times better than the one that's in the game already. So I just went ahead and started, and as I do one, I kind of look through some of my following players to see who I think could be a good fit. So Danny, you'll be pleased. I signed Nippon in January, and then I made a crazy, crazy swoop for Alphonso Davies in January, and that was my January window. But Bandomax says, we need the work rate and physicality. How tall is he? We are push. I mean, he wins. He's in the top 2% for aerial duels. So tall necessarily isn't necessarily. I never thought that height was all that matters. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just saying I personally never thought the height would matter because Lisandro Martinez was great in the air as far as aerial duels. Jules Koundé, who I really, really wanted as well, is only like 5'10", but he was literally in the top 10% for aerial duels won in La Liga when he was at Sevilla. I'll look up Yilmaz right now and see how tall he is while we're all chilling. He is 6'1", so he's not short. He's a physical specimen. So, but we are pushovers at corner, and I think that some of it has to do against Forest. A lot of that had to do with who we had marking like the biggest player on the pitch. We had Dallo and Lisandro Martinez marking him, but it's mental because I've said it time and time again. I've said it for many years on these corners. Nobody attacks the ball. Nobody ever jumps. I think the first man is the one that jumps. I think I saw Bruno jump, and he was the first guy. No one else jumps. No one wants to attack the ball. No one wants the responsibility. No one takes the initiative. And that's what I mean when we need leaders. We need mentality monsters, and we need players who just fight for everything. And we don't see that enough at United. So, but that's Barras Yilmaz. Go look him up if you want to take him in. I mean, and let me know if you're digging these little mini scout reports. Sometimes it's a little more fun to break things up. Sometimes I'll do a longer video with a bunch of targets that I'm looking at, like I did last week for the January targets. Sometimes I'll do these little mini ones. So not going too in depth, but just a little thing. It's always nice to just learn a little bit. I know not everybody watches football from different leagues and everything. Like I talked about Belgian leagues all the time. But moving on from the little mini scout report. So if you weren't here for yesterday's stream, we spent a lot of time on the thing that everybody spent a lot of time on the last 2 days is the breaking news that Dan Ashworth has left Manchester United. Now, I said when Sir Jim took over, he was he's an older guy, right? What is he, in his like mid-70s or something, early 70s? The guy is at an age, developmentally, psychosocial speaking here, that he wants legacy, and that legacy he's not going to want that legacy to take a long time. And so he'll make very quick decisions because he's not in the business of waiting around years and years to see if something's going to work. If it doesn't work, if he's got a bad feeling, he's going to go with his gut and he's going to make a change. And we saw that with Dan Ashworth. We saw that with Ten Hag. It is what it is. Now, a big part of that video, we discussed our director of football situation. What's going on? What happens next? I threw out a couple names yesterday, talking about Luis Campos, talking about Michael Zorc. Danny reminded us that Christopher Vavell is still at the club, who's been very influential with the Red Bull group, has a lot of experience there. He was key at the Seko Kone signing for us in the summer. I have no problem with that. We did get a report from Gianluca Di Marzio. Remember that guy? He was big, probably 7-8 years ago. So he reports that United may have already earmarked a replacement in the form of Andrea Berta, who is currently, I think, at Atletico Madrid. I think he's been there since 2017. He has done a little bit in terms of finagling some interesting transfers. So he got a big fee for Antoine Griezmann, for instance, and then brought him back on loan, which was, so they made profit and they got to bring him back. So that was, you can call that a bit of a master stroke. He is a former banker, so I think United fans are probably going to be a little gun shy about having former bankers in charge of things. So it's just a name. I'm not too big on Andrea Berta personally. I think that he's for a guy who's in charge of the purchases of like João Felix and Julian Alvarez, who I think Atletico way overpaid for. I think those are strikes against him, in my opinion. But you guys let me know if you're familiar with this guy. Bandomax says, I like them. I never heard of Nipan until I saw you mention him. Been watching his highlight videos. Nipan is so good, man. He reminds me of Odegaard. He almost reminds me a little bit of like Goody light, like a light version of Goody, like a young, just the way he can pick those passing lanes, the way he can pass on his off foot in mid stride on these like off rhythms, off angles. Like he'd be turning one way and then the ball would go the opposite. Like he's very good. Physical, fast, versatile. I really like him. And Danny wants to know like what do you think of him now that you've watched him a little bit, Bando Mac? Danny says, I think we have our man in Vivel. He on trial run for now. Yeah, I think that I would at least like. There's no need to rush the decision, right? I think that I think we've got enough people still there, like Barada, Wilcox, Brailsford, Vivel. Obviously, they're all there, and I think that if what I'm reading into, and I'm not saying this is what happened, but for the impression that I get is that Ashworth was just the odd man out in terms of his opinions, his approach, just the results he was doing. I think he was just the odd man out. He wasn't going along with what everyone else is saying. And now that's not a horrible thing, but I think that in terms of if you want to move forward, like I gave the analogy, and if you're rafting down the river, everyone's got to be paddling in the same direction. If there's one person who's not, it does make it a little harder. And so I think it's just ended up being not a great fit, and it is what it is. But I think that what we have right now means that I don't think we need to rush into anything. I think that we can chill for a second. We had a plan going into. Those guys are still working. You know, Barada was, from what I've read, has been doing some of Ashworth's duties. Some of these guys were working on things before Ashworth even arrived and stuff. So I think it's just, we're going to be fine for a little bit. Nippon Bandomax says, he looks good. He's very composed on the ball, but the videos only show the good. Yeah, the videos will only show the good bits. We played Rosenborg in preseason. If you remember, we played them in the summer. Their season just ended at the beginning of the month. So he's touring right now, Premier League clubs, looking for a new club. He's going to be coming to talk to us. We've been linked with him since the summer. I think we should have signed him in the summer and just loaned him back to Rosenborg until their season was done, because it would have lined up perfectly. But what do I know, right? I'm sitting in front of a ring light. But Manomex said, I think he said he was over 6 feet too. Talking about Nippon. Nippon is still just 17, so he's got some growing to do as well. So it'll be interesting to see, but I like what I see him so far. So on the director of football, so as of right now, it looks like Jason Wilcox and Christopher Vivel will be pretty much taking over Dan Ashworth's duties for the time being, or until, or even if we appoint a new director of football. So again, like I said, Vivel was instrumental in Sekou Kone transfer, and I really hope we see Kone sometime soon. I know he had that injury. I haven't read any updates on that, but hopefully he comes back soon. According to CaughtOffside.com, though, Wilcox and Vivel aren't going to be wasting any time, and David Ornstein claims too, Vivel in particular, is going to be playing a very active role this January in our transfer business. I hope that means we're going to be doing something in January. We need to move a couple players on. I gave a list of some of those in my video. I think we need to at least look at some of these guys. Like I said on United TV, Rich's channel earlier, like, we need to be doing business in January. I'm not saying we need to go out and go get a Victor Osimhen or something, but if there are players that we've been linked with, Mastantuono, Nippon, Alphonso Davies, if there are players that we were linked with that are available in January, or in Alphonso Davies' case, if you can get him now instead of getting into a bidding war in the summer or something, maybe that's something to look at. But guys like Nippon, Mastantuono, like, that's a snip. You can get both those guys for like between 30 and 40 million probably. And they come in and they add to the team. Maybe they're not starting right away, but we're building something. Now, Caught Offside reports that we're set to hold talks with another player who I mentioned the other day, and that is Jonathan David. I listed him in my bargain videos because he is also available for free this summer. 24 years old, striker for Lille. I rattled off his stats. He's been in the goals for the better part of the last 7 years. The guy's always scoring goals. I really like him. Arsenal, Inter Milan are also interested. honestly, I'm not writing off Xerxes yet. Xerxes still, jury's still out on Xerxes. But if he can't get it together in the next couple weeks, like if he continues to show, he had that one good game against Everton, but if Xerxes can't do it, like we might need to look at maybe doing something to help the goals out, because we can't wait around. We can't have passengers. We need to have players who are coming and ready to do what they need to do. Um, Danny B says, if he goes anywhere else, I'll be sick for a week, talking about Nippon. I can't imagine. I don't see like Arsenal don't need another attacking midfielder, right? They've got Odegaard. I mean, maybe they could get someone to come in and fill in for him. Obviously, they struggled when they didn't have Odegaard. We have a lot of players who play in that position, but I don't think we have anyone. Maybe you could argue like Bruno Mount, and maybe Ahmad, who are. I don't think Garnacho really fits that position. I don't think Rashford fits that position. Eriksson probably is going to be on his way out. So Nippon can be the more attacking midfielder in the two, next to like an Ugarte or a Casemiro. Maybe he can be one of those 10s behind the striker. I think I like Nippon closer to goal personally, but I'd like to see him feeding balls into those channels and finding Rasmus, finding those guys. But you guys let me know, Danny, where you think he fits the best. Let me know if you like Jonathan David too. I really like Jonathan David. I think that would be a steal. He's a top striker. His numbers are incredible. So I listed him in that video today. I did link that description that video in the description of this one, by the way, if you haven't yet gone and seen that one. Another player with whom we've been linked in recent weeks who could be set to make a decision on his future this month, and that is Alphonso Davies. So according to Christian Falk's been busy today, by the way. I know some people don't rate him. I'm just reporting what's out there right now. So according to Christian Falk, Alphonso Davies is reportedly being pressured by Bayern Munich to decide where his future lies before January. So he was informed, Bayern were informed by Alphonso Davies' representatives that Manchester United and Real Madrid have already approached them to try to schedule talks for January. Bayern want him to make a decision, sign a new contract, or find a new club. Basically, ideally, Bayern want him to sign a new contract to keep him at the Allianz Arena, but he's a hot commodity right now. He's in high demand. I think that we need a player like that. His injuries worry me a little bit. He just had another hamstring issue recently, but I think that kind of like Kerkez, it's one of those things. We need that. Kerkez and Alphonso Davies and like Aït-Noy are probably three that are really good. Two of those three are going to be out of contract in the summer. If you chose one that was going to be available for free, who would it be, Davies or Kerkez? That's a hard one. Kerkez looks good. He still looks raw. We know that Amorim likes young players. We've been linked to Kerkez as well, but we've already apparently scheduled a meeting with Alphonso Davies. It'll be interesting to see what Alphonso Davies chooses. He'll be able to be for free. We could set him down now and sign him for free in the summer, and I think Ineos would like the sound of free, but we'll see. Danny says on Nippon, fully mature, a few years, he'll be an 8. So probably, maybe it seems like he could play either in that pivot, or you could play behind the striker. It really depends. Yeah, Danny says both. And that's what I like about players like that, like players who are a little versatile, who can do a couple different positions. Guys like Rayan Cherki, guys like Mastan Tuono, they can play a couple different positions if you need them to, depending on the opposition, depending on rotation, depending on fitness. Having that little bit of versatility is great. So, but let me know if you guys would be up for Davies, Kerkez. Would you want us to get Davies done in January if that's possible? I mean, it would probably take a little bit of amount of money, because Bayern obviously you're not going to want to lose them for free if they can help it, but they're also not just going to give them away from peanuts in January. So maybe we can throw them a player. Honestly, if they want Dallo, they can have Dallo, and I'll take Davies, and we'll throw them a little bit of cash too. We heard that Real Madrid are potentially interested in Dallo. We'll see. So on a player that we have signed, though, so I don't know if you guys did see the news. Hold on. Danny says, go get Kerkez and Davies. You want them both. Danny just wants everybody. Just if in an ideal world, right, Dallo would go, Malacia would go, Shaw would go, and I would bring in Kerkez and Davies at once, because we need that. That left side has been neglected for far too long. I've never thought that Malacia is good enough. Shaw can't stay fit. Dallo, I don't think, fits the system anymore. I think that it's exposing him a little bit because he's not the only position he can play is that left or right kind of wingback midfield role. And while he's decent at carrying the ball, but as soon as he stops and other teams press him, he gives it away. He can't cross it to save his life. The dude can't cross his T's, let alone cross a ball into the box. He's suspect defending in and around our own box. He switches off constantly. Like, I think he just needs to go to a system, go to a club that fits him a little better. So I think honestly he could go to Madrid. We'll see what happens, but a player that we have signed though is a young promising winger has made a decision on his future, and it lies with Manchester United. It was announced today that United have signed young, wide attacking midfielder Emmanuel Zero, who he plays at the U15 level. We beat out the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea for this kid's signature. Apparently, very, 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 very highly rated. He's been with the Creative Football Academy, widely considered to be among the best in his age group at this level, at the grassroots level. He was kind of included. His name was thrown around a little bit when we were picking up Obi Martin, because they're both kind of from the same age group area. And Zero did post a message today kind of confirming this. He said, "Firstly, I would like to thank my family for all their love, support, and encouragement throughout the years. For as long as I can remember, I've had a ball at my feet and enjoyed the game of football. I now have the opportunity to continue doing that at the biggest club in the world, as well as the team I support." And he put the 2 red circles. So he says, "I look forward to continuing my journey playing for Manchester United. I would like to thank everyone that has contributed to my development up until now, especially Creative Football. You guys are my family, and I thank you for everything you have done." So, yeah, the first I've heard of him. I remember his name popping up when the Obi Martin stuff was popping up, and when it was confirmed kind of later on, but I forgot all about it until now. It just, the way it works with stuff like this, I'm just looking up Creative Football Academy a little bit. I don't care about location. Don't tell me that. So yeah, it's just a little academy level, basically academy just for basically giving the young kids a place to play and train and get noticed. They've got UEFA licensed coaches there to help them develop as well. So it's really cool. I'm really glad to see us building for the future. Nipan should be the next name on that list. So, but I'm excited. The future does look bright. If he's anything like an Obi Martin, a Sekou Kone, anything like some of these players at Lusali that we've been signing and building. I mean, if you look at our academy right now, I did that watch along for one of the academy matches last week. Our academy is stacked with talent, like stacked with talent. It's exciting. Y'all should be excited. I'm excited. In other news, so Ben Jacobs reports that Real Madrid are still interested in Diogo Dalot and believe that United could be persuaded to part with the fullback for £45 million, despite apparently our insistence that he's not for sale. So Madrid think they can get him for a price. United are insisting he's not for sale. Could something happen here? Remember, we paid just £19 million for Dalot ahead of, I think it was 2017-2018 season. That was under Jose Mourinho, and Jose said he was the best young fullback in his generation, if you remember that. I think Dalot could do well in Spain, like I said a few moments ago. I know what a lot of you would do with Dalot, but remind me anyway in the chat what you think Dalot should do. Would you sell him? How much do you think we should get for him if you were selling him? I know some of you would just give them money and drive him yourself. Let the jokes commence, right? It says, get him gone ASAP. And Bandomex says, at that price, you have to take it. Yeah, you know what? I think that at that price, it's hard to turn down. Honestly, even if it was like 35 million, I'd probably, because that's still more than what we paid for him. So it would at 45 million, Dalot would represent more profit. You know, we'd be up there in like the top 5 that we've sold for profit in terms of that, which is such a sad indictment of the way we've been run for so long and how just poorly the people in charge of those decisions were. It's just, yeah, I can't talk too much about the way we've been, our recruitment, our transfer business has been over the last decade and a half, because I'm going to get mad. But yeah, at that price, you really have to take it. I think that, plus Real Madrid have been taking us for everything we have for years. That we paid a lot for Rafael Varane. We paid a lot for Casemiro. I think that they owe us one. So And they're the ones who really in need. Their defenders are dropping like flies. They have been without Carvajal. The only other person they have playing in that position, I think, is Lucas Vasquez, who's like 30, 31 now. I think that they need some fresh blood in there. I think Carvajal is probably getting to the twilight of his career. He's maybe got a season tops, maybe two left in him. He could probably go to Saudi and do another couple of years too. But it's hard for a guy the age of Carvajal to come back from an ACL injury and play at that level. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a retirement announcement in the summer. But 45 million for Dalot from Real Madrid, I would bite your hand off for that and drive him to the airport myself. No offense, nothing personal. It's clear that he was never like a perfect world class fullback. He had a really good season last year by his standards, and I think that we need to give him his flowers in that regard. He's yet to improve on some key areas, like I said, the crossing, the switching off defensively. And I think maybe he's sticking out like a sore thumb this season, and especially in this system, similar to like Rashford. So 45 million, you take it and run. I don't care who it is. So, but yeah, I agree. At that price, you have to. Banomek says, yeah, when Dan James was one of the highest transfer fees received, it's been bad. I think before Dan James, it was Cristiano Ronaldo, and since it's really been just the players that have come through the academy that we've made any sort of profit on. Your Hendersons, your McTominays, your Greenwoods. Di Maria was a wash. Lukaku, I think we maybe made a little bit of money on. Pogba was just a whole chapter in a textbook on what not to do when you're buying and selling players. Danny says, I hate saying it, Wan-Bissaka was a better player, not saying we should have kept Wan-Bissaka. It's hard. It is what it is. I think Dalot represents, like I said the other day, kind of like with Lindelof when I was talking about, is he represents something that we need to keep in mind, is that these players were signed like 4 managers ago. Both Lindelof and Dalot were signed by Jose Mourinho. Luke Shaw was signed by Louis van Gaal. This is what we've had to deal with. We overpay. We pay them too much, and then we're stuck with them. And then this is where we're at. But I do think we could get money for Dalot. That was pretty decent buy for him. I think we can double our money on him. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I had no problem with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's one-dimensional, and when he wasn't winning that slide tackle on the touchline, he wasn't able to do a whole lot else. If you got past him, odds are you were going to win a penalty, because we saw that last season. How many penalties did he give away in the second half of the season because he just got blown right by and had to give away a tackle? It is what it is. He did pretty decent against Liverpool playing left back, and came on after being injured for, I don't remember how long. It was like a month or two or something, and pocketed Mo Salah on the left side. So fair play to him. He's had some really good nights. I remember him. I think Raheem Sterling still checks under his bed for Wan-Bissaka before he goes to sleep, because Wan-Bissaka has had that kid in his pocket on several occasions. But I saw him play today at West Ham. Nothing special. I mean, he's fine. He's good for a mid-table side. He's just not good enough, and it is what it is. We all like to watch a tackle. We get up for it, but that's about all he had. So, on terms of outgoings, there are 2 more players who could be on their way out as soon as January, and that is Christian Eriksen and Antony. And this is coming from Dean Jones. He claims that Ruben Amorim and United's decision makers have earmarked Eriksen and Antony to be sold in order to raise funds ahead of the January window. Now, you remember I listed Eriksen as one of the players that probably needs to be sold in that video that I did for January bargains. I think that his wages, I'm going to fix this light. There we go. Sorry, the light was flickering. His wages, he's on 150K a week, Christian Eriksen. Remember I listed Lindelof as well, who's on 120K. So sell both of them in January. Even if you just take a hit, like $500,000, $1 million each, you're getting 270K a week off the books. If you let Antony go, let's say, I think best case scenario, probably most realistic scenario with Antony would be a loan with some sort of an option or an obligation to buy. And we're probably going to have to pay a big chunk, if not all of his wages. And he's on 200K a week. We'll see what happens. Goal Brazil claimed that Saudi league clubs are interested in Antony. The price tag that this outlet has thrown out there is £25 million in order to get us to consider selling him. I think we can all just accept the fact that we're never, ever going to make our money back on Antony. It's not going to happen. even if a Saudi club comes in for him. There are two players that when it comes to the money and the wages, you're kissing it goodbye, and that's going to be Casemiro and it's going to be Antony. We're not going to make money on that. But so anyone who's holding out hope for that, if any of us are holding out for hope for that, you just got to let it go. And it's right now it's about getting them off the books. Remember, I broke down how much Casemiro is paid each year in salary. The longer you hold on to him, the more you're having to pay him. It just is what it is. So it's not as easy as that, right? Someone's got to want to buy these players. And if they're not playing or if they're not playing well, the list of suitors shrinks, but so does our financial ability if the longer they stay. So Danny B says against Barca too, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, he's had some good matches. I'm not gonna lie. He's just not. He doesn't offer enough in terms of going forward, especially. And I think that he definitely would not have a place in this system if under Ruben Amorim. He just wouldn't. And I know there are people who used to. I remember when there were so many people saying like, play him as a CDM, play him as a number 6, and I'm like, why would you ever think? Some people are weird. Dean Jones does a fantasy stream I watch. He's a good guy. Moved to California this year. Yeah, he's pretty good. For news and whatnot, I have no problem throwing out some love to Dean Jones. But yeah, Eriksen, Antony could be out the door. It's, like I said the other day, Eriksen was a free. He's on a lot of money. He hasn't been playing. He had a purple patch in October, but I think that his legs are kind of going. I think that injury kind of expedited that process. So there's a team out there somewhere who maybe is in a little bit slower league, who needs someone who can honestly, contribute. He's really good on the ball. He's really good on putting corners in the box most of the time. He can have a role. But in terms of what we need at United in a two-man pivot like that, you got to have a little bit of speed. You got to have a little bit of energy and stamina, and he just doesn't. He's a liability defending against a counterattack. We saw against FC20 Spurs, it just wasn't working. So it is what it is. Danny says 100. So we'll see what happens in January. But if the problem is with Antony, and I'm not saying that Antony counts as a contributor to the system, but the problem with Antony, again, if you sell Antony, you literally only have Ahmad, Dallo, Mazraoui, I guess Malacia. I don't see Garnacho and Rashford playing those wide positions. Antony, I keep saying this. I've said this for the last couple of weeks. Antony had a good first half against Bodo Glimt. People don't want to admit it, but you go back and look at the numbers. Heck, you just watch him play in that first half. He was incredible. I'm not saying he was our best player, but he had a very good game. And that was after him being out for a month injured. So give him his props there. But we'll see if he sticks around or anything. Rich jumping in. What are you doing up still, my guy? It's so late, Ray. But thank you. He said, well done on hitting 2K. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I saw that earlier and just wanted to make sure I stopped by today to do a news show and just give a big thanks to everybody for the community for getting it to 2K. That's awesome. I'm so excited. So very, very thankful and so very, very grateful for everybody getting involved and helping the channel grow. Excited to see where it goes. Now we're on the road to 3K, which doesn't have quite the same ring to it, but I think I can put up with it. But Danny putting out the love, the welcome wagon, and Rich lobbing it right back. Benny says, rather play Ennis or Montato. Ennis joined us in preseason, didn't he? And he had some good little runs. I think of the two, Ennis, to me, probably looks the more ready, but I think maybe that's recency bias because I've watched a lot more of him. I haven't seen Montato play as much as I've seen Ennis, but Ennis is on fire this season. He's having a really good season. Problem is we've left ourselves very little opportunity to experiment with that simply because we basically have to win all our Europa League games to have a chance at qualifying in the next round, and we basically cannot afford to drop points, which means, honestly, to me, it means Ruben Amorim can't keep rotating as much and can't keep making some of these substitutions, but it is what it is. But if we had qualified for Europa League and we still had another game left to go, we could very easily see if some of these youngsters could do it and things like that. Maybe we can give them some minutes in the cups, but I think we've got some hard cup ties, so it's going to be a little interesting. I think we have like Leicester or Spurs. I can't remember who we have in the cups. If somebody reminds me, let me know. But shifting gears from the transfer news, I'm going to talk a little bit about just United news in general. So it was reported over the weekend that the club has canceled its annual Christmas party. How do you guys feel about that? I've seen some people. I saw some dude on Twitter. He's got a significant amount of followers. He was like, "That's it. This club is crumbling." And I'm like, "Because of a Christmas party?" I don't. I think it's a little. That's a little bit of a disproportionate response. Obviously, it's not a good look in the context of all the other situations that are going on. Didn't we cancel our end of the season party last year too? Usually we have the awards ceremony and stuff. Didn't we cancel that last season, or was that the year before? Am I getting those mixed up now? Um, I honestly don't even know what the purpose was of canceling it is. Is it? I can't believe it costs enough to make it a cost cutting like measure, right? Like how much does a Christmas party cost to the point where that's like a no. I don't get. It's anyone's guess. I don't know. If anyone knows, you let me know. Yeah, I know we've got Arsenal. I couldn't remember if it was Spurs or Leicester we had in the other one, but yeah, Spurs. So we can't if we want to have a hope in those cups, we can't start playing kids. It just depends on if you want to just say F it and throw some kids in as a means of just seeing if they're ready, as a means of sending a message to guys like Rashford or Anthony or whoever. Like honestly, I mean, I support either way. It doesn't matter. I'd like to see some of these kids get some minutes. I'd love to see Ibrahimov, Fletcher, Dangor. I'd like to see a lot of these guys come in, and Kamison. Obviously, Kokonki's been training with the first team squad and traveling. He could be up for maybe some minutes or at least a spot in the match day squad at some point, but we never know. But let me know your thoughts on this Christmas party, if you're freaking out about it, if you care. I mean, maybe it was a situation where they asked the players and people were like, "Do you guys want this party? Are you guys going to go?" And everyone said, "No, we've got plans." And they were like, "Well, F it, we're not gonna throw this party then if no one's gonna show up." I mean, I would do the same if I was gonna throw a party and I asked people and they were like, "Oh, we got plans." I'd be like, "Well, I'm not bothering to make all this freaking guacamole. Screw that." But you you guys let me know what you think, and then yeah, remind me if I'm misremembering if we canceled that end of the season party last year. I'm pretty sure that happened, right? Um, Danny says, "Might as well play kids if season is over in February, March." What we do in January, or more importantly, what we don't do in January, is gonna, to me anyway, is gonna tell me if they think that there's something to be said for the season. Because I feel like we need to strengthen. I feel like there's opportunities to strengthen, especially if there are players that we've been interested in and linked with that are available in January. If we don't do anything, if we just, you can't bring in a new system that requires a whole different set of players. You can't ignore a left back situation. You can't do all this and then not help when there's an opportunity to do it. I think that, yeah, we spent some money on transfers. Yeah, we spent some money sacking Ten Hag, Ashworth, all this stuff, but you have to give Amorim just something to like show him that he's got the support. You can't just tell the guy, "Listen, you're fine. Like we're not getting fired." You can't just do that because we need something. And quite frankly, amidst all this negativity, the fans need to see something from Ineos. It's been not good optics the last week or so, and we need to see something. And now I'm not just saying sign a player just to sign a player just for the sake of it. I'm saying, like, again, Nipan, Mastantuono, Davies, whatever this looks like, if these players are available that you've been linked with, get it over the line. Like, it doesn't take much, right? It really doesn't. And it's new. It's a new owner. Maybe we'll see something different. I harken back to January, the last January, we did something where we lost two midfielders to injury. Cristiano Ronaldo threw a hissy fit and left, and the only thing we did was Sabitzer and Weghorst on loan. I am proud to say that I was there in person to witness Wout Weghorst's goal at Old Trafford when he scored against Real Betis. So I will take that souvenir to the grave. But really, what did anyone think Wout Weghorst was going to do? Did he score a single Premier League goal for us? No, I think he scored a couple of cup goals. So what are you going to do? Hopefully we can do something in January, but the Christmas party is an interesting thing. I mean, I'm just not like a party guy. I'm not really a Christmas person. So I hear that and I'm like, whatever. I wouldn't have wanted to go if I was a player, but you guys let me know what you think. Moving over to the very teeny tiny blue part of Manchester for just a squidge of a second here. So apparently the hearing into the Premier League's 115 charges against Man City has officially concluded with the closing arguments delivered last Friday. A three-man panel is now reviewing the extensive evidence and will deliver a verdict in the coming months, with the outcome set to have significant implications for English football. Yeah. So you're found guilty, it means a lot of things for a lot of clubs. If they're found innocent, it means a lot of things for a lot of clubs too. And quite frankly, if they're found innocent, if they're or not even found innocent, if they're not found guilty, which is not the same thing, I think that the Premier League, the FA, is gonna look bad, and I think that the counter suit that it opens up City to pursue is not going to be pretty. But I do stand by my promise, and y'all can hold me to it. Clip it up. If the hammer comes down on Man City, we will tailgate outside of the Etihad, and I will buy the beer. Whoever wants to bring the barbecue, whoever wants to bring the food, whoever wants to bring chairs, whatever, we'll get some of those portable outdoor heaters. I will be there. I want you guys to be there because it will be lit. It'll be strictly Guinness, though, if I buy the beer, just letting you know, because that's all I drink. So, Bandomax said, Veghorst had wingers who would rather shoot and not give them all. Yeah, I mean, any striker we've had has wingers to that. Rasmus Højlund, it's a miracle to me that Rasmus Højlund was our top scorer last year. It's a miracle to me that he pretty much had to level up his conversion rate, his clinical finishing last year. He's still among the best in the league in terms of shot conversion. I think he's still in like the top 5 right now because he has no choice. He's like, I'm never going to get the ball. I've got to make sure I do something with it. Thankfully, we've looked a little different under Amorim. Garnacho's looking for ball now. Garnacho needs to do better with that ball, but he's at least trying. But he's still young. He'll get there, but Rasmus too. But yeah, you're right. Our wingers, it's been a very thankless job being a striker at United the last few years for sure. Danny says, don't you know they get away with it? If they get away with it, how are you going to pay off? It's an independent panel, though. Danny says, money talks. Yeah, it's an independent panel. I think that, to me, in my opinion, you don't hire this many lawyers if there's nothing to be that you've done wrong. You don't spend the whole investigation not cooperating if you've not done anything wrong. And so I think that, to me, that says a lot. How you defend yourself in these situations says a lot about what you think. But like if I was completely innocent, I would be like, I just represent myself because I didn't do anything wrong, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, we're all going to be waiting around. Obviously, the whole footballing world is going to be waiting to see what happens. But it is going to send shockwaves, whatever the decision is. If they're found innocent, City fans are going to sit there and demand apologies from everybody. If they're found guilty, City fans are going to say it's a witch hunt. It's going to be a lose-lose no matter what. But we all know that they have an asterisk next to everything that they've won anyway. So it is what it is. It's just going to be funny because, honestly, like I've said many times, I don't know where you guys stand on City's situation and what you want to see happen. I know I'd want everything to see happen, but honestly, I would be happy if just take away all the trophies. Take away the trophies, strike them from the records, null and void the seasons that they won the league if that's during the period in question, if that's what it takes. I don't think second place should get awarded a fine. They don't really care about fines. They're super, super rich. Transfer bans. We already tried to ban them from UEFA competitions. That didn't work. I'm not the one who's going to demand it. I just want them to take away the trophies so they haven't won anything. That's all. And that also means that De Bruyne's assists are gone. Haaland's golden boots are gone. His records are gone. All the records, all the centurions, all that shit, gone. That's all I want. That's all I want. And then we'll go draw a big mustache on that Sergio Aguero statue outside of it. How are you going to have a statue for a guy? Your club has been relevant for just over, almost 15 years now. Come on, that's ridiculous. In closing, though, it has been a crazy day for news. And we'll wrap up on this little piece. So David Coote, remember that poor bastard who was filmed talking about Jurgen Klopp and building a snowman, if you know what I mean. Well, it's come out today that the PGMOL has sacked him from being a referee following the release of that video and some of the other photographic evidence, despite the fact that the video was made a few years ago, despite the fact that he didn't say anything bad about Klopp, in my opinion. He didn't say anything about Klopp that United fans haven't said under their breath many times, aside from the German part. We don't support that part. But he has been sacked. So no more David Coote. Remember, this was the ref that also incorrectly awarded West Ham a penalty against us earlier this season that did cost us the match a little bit. So anyway, RSV, welcome back, my friend. How are you? big up. Dan Ashworth leaving has left the fan base divided. I still have mixed feelings about this. Apparently, he didn't have the same vision as that of Omar. Yeah, we're talking a little bit about yesterday, and we're talking a little bit about that today. It just seems like of the group of this whole recruitment structure that we brought in, it just seems like he was probably the one voice who just didn't agree with everybody who wasn't going along. And when that's the case, usually the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So it is what it is. But let me know your thoughts on David Gui. Let me know your thoughts on the city charges, because I shit you not, whether the news comes out while I'm there or whether the news comes out, I will make a trip. I've got the credit card points. I will fly back and tailgate, and I will buy the Guinness for anyone who wants to come with me and just get absolutely annihilated, singing every United song you can think of outside of the Etihad. We'll make a day of it. I don't even care. But that has been the news for today, with the biggest of the biggest news being, of course, celebrating and thanking all of you guys for helping the channel get to 2K. So we will do the giveaway. It's not going to be tonight because I wasn't fully prepared. I wasn't planning on doing this video tonight. It was going to be tomorrow. That just means you get another video tomorrow, right? It was tomorrow, Tuesday, probably Wednesday, because that's when the presser is going to come out for the for Thursday's match. I have to have both my computers going Thursday, because literally a couple minutes before kickoff, my next class with the PFA is right at the same time. So I've got to have my one laptop for the game and then the other one for the class. And I've got to make sure I mute my mic because it could get loud and inappropriate. But so I will be back for the preview of the match against Victoria Pleasant. So keep a lookout for that. And then, of course, keep a lookout for that one, because we're probably going to be announcing the winner. I'm going to compile all the names of everyone I've seen getting involved and everything. So I'm going to go back for the last several videos since the last giveaway, looking around, put them all in a big spinny wheel. We're going to do that live so you guys can see it all, and then talk a little bit about the match, obviously, and any of the news that's come up since then, and then maybe chat a little bit about what plans I have moving forward for the channel and whatnot, and so you guys can get involved with that, because this is your channel. This is your guys' community. You guys make it what it is. But again, big up all you legends for helping us get to 2K. I could not be more thankful and more excited to be a part of the community. Cheers to everyone who stopped by tonight. Rich, Danny, RSV, of course, Bandomac. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you again for all the congrats and everything. But really, it's all you guys. Give yourselves a big pat on the back. Glad to be a part of it. Glad to be here and just help facilitate the conversation and have a platform for this. So if you weren't able to catch it live, leave your thoughts in the comments. I will respond to them all. Please, please, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're now on the road to 3K. And then hit the notification bell if you want to get, alerted when the new videos are dropping, so you guys can come get involved. So until then, enjoy your night. Thank you for stopping by. I will see you guys on the next one. And thank you again. I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Take it easy, guys. Night.